So when I scheduled this and I started this company and I told people I was doing it, it was at first everyone was excited for me. Like, wow, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone knows my story, where I'm from. Now, where I live, everyone don't look like me. I'm a minority. Okay. So regardless, I don't I don't really see myself that way, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it seemed like people that I approached about my idea initially were all for it. Like no one told me no. And then all of a sudden, people started looking for ways to tell me no. It's like it's almost like they were fishing for ways. Like on the it would be like, it's raining outside. Is it raining outside? Or did it just rain earlier? Or is that just mist from the house? Like it's almost like they didn't want to see the obvious, because they got instantly intimidated by my program and what I'm doing and my story. So they instantly became competitive against me. So I had to adjust my approach for that. Places like the YMCA. I mean, I still got a lot of people to contact. So, you know, people are different. So you have to contact a lot of people because everyone's different.
Yeah.
So, you know, where I'm doing it at now, I'll be able to do it there, you know, until I don't want to do it anymore. I'm visiting Strongsville today. That's another city, about 2 cities over. I do the same thing there. A little bit different. I'm gonna have to pay up front, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. And I'm gonna keep visiting throughout Northeastern Ohio, just looking to make, you know, connections with people who see value. I don't want to sell you on Lisimba Patilla and TRI720 cheat codes. Like if I gotta sell you on it, then I'm not. We obviously are not connecting, right? So instead, I want to work with you to enhance your aquatic center's current offering. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking to compete against anything. I'm looking to complement. So not everyone wants to see it that way. And the key word is want. Not everyone wants to see it that way. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I can handle that, you know. I think that's fair. That, you know, some people are different and they have a different outlook, and you have to adjust and kind of pivot your approach to meet their needs and to be of value to them. From a peers, what's that?
No, I said kind of adjust and make compromise where it's necessary to accommodate everyone.
Well, yes, because you've got to consider what they have in for it, you know, and what their rules are and things of that nature. So it's cool. Peers, people who like knew me when I couldn't swim and when I was afraid, and when they knew I was afraid and everyone knew I was afraid, I approach some of those people now to say, hey, make me a video. Talk about what it was like when you met me. Talk about what it's like when I'm at the pool now. It's not a big deal. Just 1 minute, 2 minutes. It won't do it.
Wow.
Why do you think that is?
You know, one thing I have come to realize in life is not everyone wants you to progress, but it all boils down to yourself. What I mean by that is, so many people, like I shared a story about my cousin on Monday. He, you know, before he started his company, friends, colleagues, former colleagues, everybody was like, okay, you can do the studies. We are going to assist you. We will help you to do this. We'll publicize. We'll kind of connect you and all that. When he started, they all ran away.
course.
They didn't want to do anything with him. So he called me. He was at the verge of giving up. He was like, Patience, what am I going to do? I say, you know what? Even if everyone doesn't believe in you, believe in yourself.
That's right.
You know, I believe life is in stages and in phases. This first phase will go away. And with experience of what one is going through, it will be kind of story, memory for years to come. Be like, okay, when I started, I had people did this to me, did that to me, but here I am today. Without disappointment, there won't be stories. So what I can say is, fine, many people will not encourage you. Lots of people kind of turn against you. Some will be like, okay, yeah, give excuses. But I believe in your vision. I have studied TRI720 cheat codes course, and I know it's something that will help a lot of people. This course will help a lot of people, because I know there are people who wants to, even if they don't want to kind of be a professional swimmer, but they just want to, that's fun of being able to swim without using a swim tools, without using equipment, that's having fun in the water. So when that fear is gone, when that fear is removed, they will be able to do that. So what I'm saying is, I know you are determined, you are courageous, you are competent. I know you will make it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, yeah, the last time we on Friday, you say you were going to employ someone for local publicity. I think that will go a long way too. Kind of, let people aware, because one thing about business is creating awareness.
Mm-hmm.
When people are aware, initially they might not be like some initial stage, there might not be a kind of people, you'll be discouraged because you have many no's. But I'm sure by the time people are aware of what is happening and how it will help them, we will make progress. People will start coming. People will start kind of coming to learn what you have.
I think I agree with you. Yes. And I think that oftentimes what we see at the beginning of this, when people seem to kind of like go away from you, what's really happening is the people who will not be a part of your journey.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're actually leaving, right?
Yes.
Or even more importantly, you're leaving. But at the time, it feels like they're leaving, but really you're leaving. Like you said, you're the one progressing now, right?
Yeah.
So as you keep progressing, what'll happen is you begin manifesting the type of people who are going to be in your life for the long run.
Yes.
Right? So as you're going, what you'll find is that in your lane, other people will be in your lane as you keep going. They're just down the road a bit, right? We had to get off on the exit ramp, you know what I mean? And so that we can be in our own lane. So that's kind of early on right now. I mean, I've been doing research for 6 months. I've been swimming for 10 years. Well, I've been trying to swim for 10 years, but I would say I've been swimming really well, like really, really well over the past 2 years from a competitive standpoint. But as I told my wife when I was teaching her, I said, it's okay to swim ugly as long as you're comfortable.
Yes.
Swim ugly. It don't need to be pretty. It don't need to be streamlined. Just swim ugly. But are you comfortable? Like, right? Like, do you feel safe? Do you feel like you're in control in the water right now? So if it's ugly, just let it be ugly. That's fine.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I swam ugly for 5, 6 years. Everyone would tell me what was wrong with my stroke. Even to this day,
Yeah.
people like to tell me what's wrong. I don't really care. Is what they don't realize is that I'm gonna work on my stroke every day. Well, 3 to 4 times a week anyway. I have a coach, so I'm always working on it. So, you know, it could be ugly today and it'll look good tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
You know what I mean? Or what's really happened now, because I've gotten really good at swimming, is like it looks good every day. You know, that's
it
what's
gets
really
better.
cool. Yeah, I've become a really good swimmer. And it's really just consistency and sticking with it. You know what I mean?
Determination, and
I mean, it took
not
me
giving up.
You got to think about this, patience. I was standing in the shallow end of the pool for over 600 days, just standing there.
Standing there.
Or I would come to the pool, I'd sit there and I'd leave. Or I walk. The first time I walked in the pool, I pissed myself.
Wow.
I walked in.
You've come a long way. People need to hear you. People need to hear your story. You've come a long way, man.
I had a full wetsuit on, okay? I have a wetsuit on. And as I walked in and I smelled the chlorine, I wet myself. And I turned around and left. And I took a shower. I never forget this day. I took a shower in my wetsuit.
Wow.
It's a fact. I took a shower in my wetsuit, patients. Because, you know, I had to wash the urine away from it. I didn't want it to smell. You know what I mean? And but here's the key. I gave myself a gold star that day for having the courage to go to the pool. I gave myself a gold star for 600 straight days. You understand? Like I gave myself credit. I knew no one else would give me credit. So I just gave myself credit. And as I'm moving down this road, as I told you earlier, I start moving away from people.
Yes.
You understand? So
yes, I do.
And then I started to, I was firing swim coaches. I get upset and I was frustrated. I was sad, in a sense, because I wasn't getting the progress I wanted. And, but I would still show up.
Yeah.
And I'd try some things here and there, it wouldn't work, leave. But then at day 630, I had collected all kinds of swim equipment. I had wetsuits, I had snorkels, I had like 6, 7 different types of snorkels. I had 3, 4 different types of wetsuits. I had wetsuits so damn thick because the wetsuit makes you buoyant, okay?
Yeah.
So when you're in the water, it makes you more comfortable. I didn't know this at the time. I knew it at the time, but I didn't trust it. I would say that. I didn't trust it. So, and then I would be embarrassed when I came with a wetsuit, so I would just leave the wetsuit at home. So I was totally be unprepared for over 600 days. I would always be online searching out ways that I could learn how to swim, and I wouldn't find anything, but I would find some equipment. So before I knew it, I had all this equipment at my house. And I met a guy who was a scuba diving instructor.
Yeah.
And I asked him, why you guys wear wetsuits? I got a couple of those at home. I said, they don't work. That was just my attitude and my fear speaking. I said, these don't work. Understand? I said, these don't work. He said, what do you mean the wetsuits don't work? I said, well, they just don't work for me. They haven't helped me swim. He said, well, they're not meant to help you swim. They're meant to keep you above the water. And I said, really?
Oh, wow.
I said, wow. I said, well, because I was just using it to keep me warm because the cold water triggered anxiety. So I wanted to just keep me warm, but I never thought of it as helping me swim. So I started using it, and I'm scared to death. I was so scared, patients, I would hug my wife and kids before I left home and kiss them. They didn't know why, but it was because I said, I'm experimenting. And in my mind, I'm experimenting with death, but really I'm experimenting with fear.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
um a lady asked me to go to open water swimming, and I took my wetsuit and my snorkel with me, and I got a little swimming in, and then I met her there again, and it dropped off real quick, and I panicked, and she like pushed me in the face, was like, roll over. And I rolled over on my back, and I saw my feet come to the surface. That was the first
Wow.
time I had ever floated on my back.
Wow.
And I saw my feet come to the surface, and I said, holy shit. And I was like, I like did my arms like this, and I started moving. I said, oh, holy shit. So make a long story short, we got out of the open water because I was still scared about it. But I was like,
Yeah.
it was a breakthrough. So
Oh.
I went back to the pool later that evening in my wetsuit, and I would just float on my back up and down the pool in my wetsuit. I just float. I would go to like, there was like 2-3 feet of water. They got
Yeah.
really nice pools for babies
Yeah.
and stuff. So they got like 0 depth up to like 5 feet of water. So I would go swim in those areas. I would be floating on like 4 feet of water. I was like, oh. So what happened is it desensitized it. Like the
Yeah.
wetsuit, the lower depths of water, and being able to float, it desensitized it.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could just put my hands down and be in control. So
Yeah.
it desensitized it. So then I started wearing the snorkel when I put my face in the water, because again, I was so frightened about it. But
Yeah.
it helped me desensitize, where I could just dip down in the water with my snorkel on,
Oh.
and I would just sit there and breathe and be like, and I would wait till I calmed down. I'm like, okay, all right,
Wow.
that's it. So then, because I knew I had the wetsuit on, I would go down the pool in my wetsuit, with my face in the pool, and I would swim, and that's how I started swimming. It was ugly, it's horrible looking,
Wow.
and then
Yeah.
I tried to do a triathlon that way, and it didn't work. I was like, I got like 500 meters, but I needed to swim like 1.2 miles or something. So I'm like, holy crap, this is nuts. I've got to try again. So now I'm at about day 650, 660, somewhere up in there. And
Wow.
so before I go on, do you know what courage is? Do you really know what courage is?
Courage. Sure. Courage is
Just break it, just really, no, I don't want, and I want the basics of courage. So the core word of courage comes from the Latin word core, C-O-R, core.
cool.
Core,
Okay.
core in Latin means heart. Heart.
Yes.
Rage, the definition of rage is fury and anger. So courage is really a heart filled with fury and rage for a purpose. Like courage. That's why you can't have courage without fear. Fear's got to be there.
Yeah.
Like when people defend themselves, they show courage. When people
Yeah.
save someone from a burning car, that's courage.
Courage.
It took their heart really, intensely
Yes.
modifying who you are at that moment in the face of fear.
Yeah.
That's courage. So
absolute courage. Yeah.
you understand? It's why in
Yes.
TRI720 cheat codes, I give you so much information, because
Yes.
that information that I went through educates you. You go through the same education I go through. And that education teaches you about the water, teaches you about the pool. It teaches you about this equipment. It teaches you about swim anxiety and the triggers. It teaches you about all these things. And what does that do for you? Well, it's not just the knowledge, but it's also your heart, because you're trying to do something that you're afraid of. So all this information is now in your heart, and it's raging now. So at this point, at day 660, I'm raging because I didn't, it's been almost 2 years of trying to overcome this thing, and I still haven't done a triathlon. So I stopped swimming with my snorkel at that point, at least for a week. I started doing different drills where I kind of turned, and I asked some coaches about how best way to do this, and they were giving me feedback, and I was just, okay, so I need to turn my head, and I just started working on it, in the pool, in shallow water, until I figured it out enough, and I said, okay, we got to get to the end of the pool without it, because up until this point, I had still never gotten to the end of the pool without a snorkel on. Always had on the snorkel. All right, I tried to do a triathlon in a snorkel. A wetsuit, everyone's got a wetsuit on. But a snorkel is like, what's this guy doing, right? So by this time, patients, I am just raging to get this success. And I took my time. I think it took me almost 40 strokes. But I knew that I could swim a little bit and I would roll over on my back. I'd swim a little bit and I would roll over on my back. And I made it to the end of the pool. I was like, it's time to do a triathlon. 3 weeks later, I done a triathlon. And then I hired a coach. And then I've always had a coach. I always have somebody to talk to feed me information. That's just important to encourage me to be positive, to be that inspiration, to be that that person who's looking at the data saying, yo, you're getting really good at this. I need that. Everybody, that's why football players, soccer players, everyone's got a coach. That's what the coach is for. You know what I mean? TRI720 Cheatcodes provides a coach, who's going to meet you just like we're meeting. To learn about, hey, how's it going? And by the way, patients, how's it going? Where are you?
Yeah. For this week, I learned about the various flexibility and strength training.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I did the door training for the
door stretch.
Chest. Yes, exactly.
It felt good, didn't it?
Sure, it felt good. Yeah, it felt good. So I was I've been doing it for 3 days now, and kind of have some flexibility, with my arms,
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, so I did the one standing by the wall, raise your hand, kind of this. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. So that is that. I wanted to ask about buoyancy. I know it's a natural, like you said, our body has this ability to float while we are inside water.
Our bodies are 80% water, 70% water. The human body. Okay. Like we got bones and muscles and we got organs, but our muscles and our organs are made primarily of water. Like the insides of our bodies is very tender. That's why you can easily hurt yourself if your body's not solid, because that's why you bruise. If you hit your hand on something, you bruise. Your blood has water in it. That's why you bruise. You understand? Because the inside of your body is so soft tissue. So you're mostly water. So like when you inhale, you become more buoyant, but it's tough. What's tough about buoyancy is the breathing, because most people. So when you're doing all that, every time you exhale, you're pushing yourself kind of deeper not deep into the water, but down into the water. You're still going to float. But when you exhale, when you inhale, you'll float easier. So that's why in our program, we encourage you to wear wetsuits, because wetsuit will keep you buoyant no matter how you breathe it.
Breathe.
You understand? So you're going to stay buoyant no matter what. You see what I mean? And that's why that's why the program is built how it is, because that's what I learned. That's the lesson I learned after 720 days, is that I'm buoyant in a wetsuit. Like this wetsuit, like it's like a child learning how to walk. They don't just, I've never seen a child learn to walk by just pushing his hands off the ground, standing up and start walking. What do? They start crawling. And then from crawling, they stand up and they move around tables and chairs and couches, or their parents' fingers, they want to walk, hold your fingers and walk. Why? Because it makes them feel safe. If you take your fingers away, what do? They plop right down on their butt like, boom, I ain't going nowhere. Why? Because they don't feel safe and in control. Even a child who isn't conscious understands their safety and being in control, even at that age. You know, they're less than a year old. Their minds are still developing, but yet they understand safety. They understand being in control. So that's why in TRI720, we use various vices and various depths of water and various and out of water experiences to introduce you to swimming, because it desensitizes it and helps you learn how to feel safe again, how to feel in control again, you know, because you're an adult and you don't feel safe and in control in this environment. So TRI720 cheat codes is a cheat codes. It's the instructions to feel safe and in control.
Yeah, before you finally go into the pool. Yes.
And then when you go into the pool, go into a depth that you're comfortable at. Like people, I heard people say, well, I get in right up to my chest. All right, we got 10 more minutes. People say I talked to a lady, she said, I only get in the water in my chest. I said, why don't you get in the water up to your knees? Right? Get in the water up to your knees. And put on a wetsuit and learn to float there, because you'll float just fine in 2 to 3 feet of water. You float just fine. Oh yeah. And then you can put your hands down and feel. And yeah, early on you might be a little bit nervous, but when you realize I'm safe and I'm in control, I can just put my hands down, you'll find yourself relaxing. You'll find your heart rate going down. That's TRI720 cheat codes, baby. That's how it works. So now you're learning buoyancy without like feeling in danger in 5 feet of water. Like I felt in danger in 5 feet of water when I went through my thing, so I know other people are. It's not uncommon to feel unsafe when you get horizontal in the water. That's not uncommon. Now, if you can just stand there, you're going to feel safe. But once you get horizontal, even in 5 feet, if you're 5'8", you're still going to feel unsafe because you don't understand like what's going on. No, this is, you know, that's not a good depth to learn how to feel safe.
Yeah.
You need a smaller depth. So that's what TRI7, that's why it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like people want me to like give it a lot of stuff away with TRI720. I was like, but it's a cheat code.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I get, like, I used to play a guy in football. We would play on the video games and he would put a cheat code in.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we played, he would never tell me the cheat code, but he put it in. And he put that cheat code in and it made him better. You know, it made his players more advanced. It made everything more advanced for him. He didn't give me the cheat code. You know what I mean? So I don't like when I talk about TRI720 cheat codes, I talk about it in general. Obviously, I'm not giving you step-by-step process, but I don't mind telling people what I went through so that they can understand that, it's a process. And I'm 8 years of the process. Like most people
Wow.
I swim with have been swimming their whole lives. I've been swimming 8 years. I'm 49 years old.
Wow.
And I can swim as good as people who've been swimming all their lives. And that's because I swim as often as they swim, but also it's because I still use the cheat codes, because the cheat codes helps me with my breathing. The cheat codes help me with buoyancy, helps me think about buoyancy differently. It helps me with my balance and being in control of my body, with what I'm doing with my body. It helps me with my body control. And then I have a coach to give me workouts so I can practice these
Guidance,
things.
yeah.
So have you gone beyond just breathing in water? Have you started dipping yet? Or are you still practicing putting your face in water? Because you should keep practicing. Yeah, keep practicing, but practice a lot. Practice 3 to 5 times a week, okay? Like practicing. And get reps. Don't just do it once. Do it 3 to 5, 10 times.
Yes. Yeah. I've been practicing and I'll keep practicing. Yeah.
And observe yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Observe yourself.
Okay.
By observing yourself, you put yourself in charge. You say, okay, Patience is about to put her face in water. Let's see what Patience feels like. And then you say, I want Patience to have a relaxed face. I want Patience to exhale from her larynx, nice and softly. You know, you tell yourself exactly how you want the outcome to be. That's what you do the entire time. And yes, you will make mistakes, and yes, it won't be perfect, but you continue to tell yourself what you desire.
Yes.
And the cheat codes, and the cheat codes will keep you just keep seeing your anxiety going down, because your anxiety's already gone down a lot. So you probably need to,
honestly, a lot. It has gone down a lot, whole lot. Yeah.
I actually believe you probably need to practice each level, holding your breath, releasing individually. You know, holding your breath from your larynx is just, I think you should do that a lot in water and out of water, and observe yourself. Always observe yourself. Always be in the present with yourself. You understand? You got to, because it's about being in control. So it's a big thing about control, safety and in control. So you ask yourself throughout the process, am I safe? Am I in control?
In control, yes.
Every time. Am I safe? Am I in control?
Am I in control, yes.
Throughout the process, forever.
Yes.
Forever. I still do it.
Am I safe? Am I in control? Yes.
Am I safe? Am what I'm doing safe? Yes. Am I in control? Yes. You move forward. Am I safe? Am I in control?
Am I in control?
A child
You're a
learns.
Fantastic coach.
Thank you.
You're a fantastic coach. The world needs to listen to you, honestly.
They will.
Wow.
They will.
Yes.
I promise
they will.
you. They will.
Yes. They will.
You take care. I've got to get to the pool. I have a swim workout and a cycling workout today. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Patience.
Thank you so much.
I'm extremely proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let up.
Yeah.
All right?
Sure, I will.
And what you're doing on LinkedIn is just super awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. What I'm going to be doing Saturdays, there is this social, they call it Social Saturday. So I'm going to be using the company's handle to connect with different people, make comments, socialize so they get to know what you are doing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Hey, send me your address.
Okay.
All right. I send you. You like the new gear?
Yeah, I like the hoodie here.
You like the hoodie?
Good. Yes.
Small, medium. What? Extra small, small, or medium? What size?
Medium. Medium. Yeah.
Send you a medium. Do you want the black on white or the white on black? You want
black
like
and
this?
white. No, black and white.
Or you want the black with the
then
white?
White. Right.
That's the one my daughter took from me this morning. I had to give her one. So, all right, I got you.
All right.
I got you. You take care.
You too. Yeah, bye. Now we praying for our company. We are going to succeed. We're going to prosper.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna change the world.
Yeah, sure. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.